Hey everybody, super excited to have Stephanie with me here today, all the way from Italy. Hi Stephanie,
Hello.
super pumped to have you. And Stephanie is a work at home mom, and she started as a virtual assistant, but her journey has really changed a lot. And so I want to ask her exactly how she got started doing what she's doing, how she pivoted into what she's doing now. And I'm going to ask her some questions about what it's really like to work from home when you have a little kiddo, because I think that that's what so many moms want to know about. So we're going to dig right in. First of all, tell me a little bit, Stephanie, what made you really want to work from home? Like, what was the trigger that started you down this path?
Okay, guys. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm a native New Yorker and I have two babies. And I recently moved to Italy about a year ago. So if you hear my daughter in the background, she's just watching something. So you might hear her just singing a little bit. But I wanted to work from home because in New York, I was working a corporate full-time job, finance sector, working 9 to 5, and my husband was a bit of a stay-at-home dad for part of the time, and then we had a babysitter, and I really missed. I feel as though I missed some of my daughter's milestones, and it was really hard going back to work after 3 months being with my daughter, and I felt that was just not a long enough time to be able to bond. But you do what you have to do, right? So I became, a work mom, and it was just really tough. And just was not, I just did not, was not happy in my job, really was not. And so we had the opportunity to move to Italy. My husband's from this area in northern Venice, Veneto area. And I decided, okay, I'm going to stay at home and I will take care of my daughter. I also have a 16-month-old who's currently sleeping. And so we moved here, and I wanted to be able to spend time with my children, be able to have the flexibility to do other things and not be tied down to a job that was always going to keep me away and not let me pursue my passions. So my husband is working full time, and we have family here that help us out. So it gives me a lot of time and opportunity to be able to do other things and be able to do it from my home and not have to work the grind every day.
Yeah. So how long did you do the grind with your first daughter before you decided, like, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore, or before you guys decided to go to Italy?
I was doing the grind for 3 full years in corporate land. I had been doing executive assistant work off and on in New York,
Okay.
more part-time before I had my daughter. And we decided, okay, New York is great, but it's hard for families, especially when my parents are not nearby and it's
Mhm.
expensive and we wanted something different. And so after my second child was born, literally 2 months after he was born, we up and left New York and moved to
Wow.
Italy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what does your husband do that allowed him to go to Italy?
He works in the restaurant hospitality business.
Okay.
Um, so it's really easy to be able to find work in restaurants or in bars. And he eventually wants to open his own place. So that
Mm.
gives him a leg up, especially in his home country.
Right. It's interesting because we actually, I mean, every single day I have somebody message me. They're either not from America, but are in America right now, awaiting for their green card, awaiting for a visa, and they feel like they can't work. Or there's people like you that have left their home country and they've moved abroad. There might be a military spouse, or their spouse got a job, and they're like, great, now I'm here in Spain or Italy or whatever. And what the heck am I supposed to do? Like, I can't get a work visa. I can't apply for jobs. Like, it's very, very complicated. And you figured out, oh, I could work online and I could do this from anywhere, including from here. So what helped you to kind of figure out that you wanted to do the virtual assisting thing? How did you even hear of virtual assisting? How did that go for you to make that connection?
Yeah, so when I first got to Italy, I used to work for Rosetta Stone years ago, teaching English online. So I remembered, okay, yeah, I could do that while I'm here just to start. So
Mhm.
then I started to just look for, okay, online teaching, companies, and I started searching some more for like opportunities to work from home, and I found flex jobs and was applying there, and then I just started to search on Facebook, and your work from home Facebook group popped up. And that's when I decided to join and then just started to read the posts. And I found your free virtual assistant course that gives you a breakdown of like what it is and what you do and how to go about getting there. And so I was teaching online with a Chinese based company and then decided, okay, I don't want to do this for the rest of, my life. So I want to be able to figure out what else I can use my skills for that I already have
Mhm.
and go from there.
And you did the virtual assistant thing for a little while, but you quickly started to niche in something and have kind of since pivoted. So, how did 90 Day VA kind of help launch things for you? And then, what made you take this pivot direction, and what are you doing now?
Yeah, so I had started to go through the course and was learning a lot about the blogging and social media design, which I really love doing. So then I started thinking, okay, maybe I can go in that direction, and was doing the modules. And I thought, well, what else is there that I am good at? And I think I remember seeing something about video, or there was an idea that people, virtual assistants, work in video editing, and I thought, wow, well, I used to do that in New York, and I used to shoot video and be a videographer for a bit and edit videos, and I really loved doing that. And I thought, okay, how does that translate into a virtual assistant? And then I started researching and looking through the course, and seeing that there were video editor positions and influencers, businesses, entrepreneurs looking for people to edit their video content for their social media platforms. So I thought, okay, yeah, this is something that is right up my alley. And I have a background in theater and film as an actor. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's where I want to go, because that's what's closest to me, doing more creative things that I love. So that's how I then decided, okay, I'm going to be doing virtual assistant work, but geared towards video editing, and visual storytelling, and helping clients build their work and their connection to their customers and their target base through video.
Hmm. Super cool. I love it. We have a very video editing is something that's really hot. People always need it, as you have found. But it's something that we didn't have a lot of girls in the program doing yet. So I'm really glad that we have some now, and that you're one of them. It's really, really brilliant. Now, do you think that somebody could do it though? You said you had a background in it. Do you think that somebody could do it who doesn't have a background in it? And then how would they be able to do that transition?
I think if you are wanting to get into it and you have a laptop or a computer that already has some kind of video editing software, it doesn't have to necessarily be professional grade like Adobe Suite, Premiere Pro, or Final Cut. Let's say iMovie or Window Video Maker. You can start slowly with those
Mhm.
and practice and use some of your own recordings that you have, your own videos, maybe your home videos or footage from, events or parties that you have, or ask your friends to see if you can use that to create, some work, so that you get a feel for how to use the program first, and then share it, and then start to see how it's being used in the business world. And
Mhm.
then I would say, if you want to eventually use something that's a higher grade professional level of software, there are some others that are a little bit more, not complicated, but a higher skill set that you have to learn, and then go from there. And then once you are able to feel comfortable doing that, and then say you get a client and they maybe are looking to do video, you can ask them, okay, what video software they're using. Would you mind if I had a subscription to this, and then I can use this to build upon and learn this software to build my skill set so that I can create, or you can create, something that is high grade professional that is really going to knock the socks off for your clients.
So people don't need to like go to film school or go work in Hollywood or go get a video editing degree.
No, I am self-taught.
Yes, most people are. Nobody knows that. We all think that like, oh, she's a video editor. It's like, I just play around in iMovie until I figured it out.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the types of clients that you work with. You gave us a couple of example influencers of people who need video, but are they long-term clients? Are they more project-based? Is it a mix? And then what type of video content do you make for them?
Yeah, so I am now kind of doing a mix. I'm working an on-call editor for a company based in California, and they work with influencers for their projects. And so when they need me, then I'll jump on and help with some of their video. And then I'm working with small businesses locally in Italy where I live, and just started to reach out to them to ask them if they need help and if I could record some of their events or promote their events. Because interestingly enough, in a lot of the businesses, the brick and mortar businesses, they're not using a lot of social media, or they don't use a lot of video at all, or I don't have any video at all.
But they know it's important. Have you found that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, I need that, but I don't have time. I don't know how to do it. I don't even know who to hire. Like everybody knows that video marketing and social media marketing is so important, but they don't have somebody to go to.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's part of it. And then I've been cold pitching companies, and I just recently, I won't say too much yet, but I recently had a video call with a company that is travel based. So they have been doing a lot of traveling, and they have a lot of footage that they haven't even begun to get edited yet. And they don't have anyone in a position right now to even work on the footage to edit it. So they're looking to kind of fill that role. So it might be a long-term thing. It's going to start out as an internship, hopefully, and then grow from there. And I also have a potential internship with a video production company in California. I did cold pitch them. So I sent them an email asking if they needed help, if they needed an intern. And they said, reach back in Q1, which is, I think, the end of September. Mm-hmm. So that's also how I've been kind of networking and getting in touch with companies, those who put out posts for jobs, and then other people that I'm just sending emails to, because you never know, right?
Yeah. And then what do you cold pitch? When you say cold pitch somebody and you kind of said like, oh, if you need an intern, whatever, what do you do to make yourself really stand out? Like, how have you made your cold pitches really attention grabbing?
Yeah. Cold pitching, essentially when someone or company organization has not even put out a post for a job position, you send them an email. They don't know who you are. So you have to kind of put your best foot forward immediately in that email and show them why they need you. And I have researched the company, researched their background, researched what they're doing, what they need, and then I, in turn, put in the email what I think they're doing really great at. And then I sell my skills of what I'm really great at and how I can help elevate their company into a different stratosphere. And I've pitched myself as an intern or as doing full-time employment with them. It depends, because I also do want to get more work portfolio-wise built up. So in that case, that'll help kind of ease my way into building a working relationship with them, so that they can feel comfortable and see that the work that I do with them is something that's compatible and great and can cement a longer-term working relationship.
Are the internships paid or unpaid? Are they long-term, a little quick project? Like, how do you gauge that?
Yeah, so it all depends on the company. I've done an internship that's unpaid, and I've done one that has been paid, and they've turned into paying positions, and those have been short term.
Cool. I think that's the trick. Do you agree that like a short internship to prove that you can do it and get some experience, make them feel comfortable with you, and then move into like a paid relationship? I'm not a huge fan of internships that are, oh, it's just a chance to give you experience and I get some free work. Like, no.
No, yeah, we want an end game here.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, and then how much do you ideally want to be working each week? And have you met that goal yet, or are you like getting close to it?
So ideally, I would like to work about 20 to 25 hours a week. I haven't met that goal yet. It's still an ebb and flow. Um, I I've been doing a lot of interviews, and then I do a follow up, and people will get back to me, and then I won't hear back. So it's like, oh, you think you're gonna get that client, and then you don't. So you got to keep
Yeah.
moving.
So how many
So
hours
right
about are you at right now per month?
so right now I'm at about 10 hours a week. Not a
Oh,
lot.
that's still, you just recently started too, right? Like we're still like the 3 month
Yeah.
range, I would say.
Yeah, I think I signed up at the end of April.
Okay, so like
Yeah.
it's been a few months. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great though. And then
Yeah.
are you comfortable sharing how much you're charging per hour or about how much you're making per month?
Right now it's definitely below what I want to make. It's I eventually want to charge like 30 an hour. Right now I'm at like 20 an hour.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
But you're
But
kind of still feel like, so in this instance, you're kind of still feel like you're just starting, and
yeah,
you also realize it's a long game. So you know that the more portfolio building you do right now, in 6 months, it's going to pay off and you can like bump your rate and you're going to have lots more hours. So it's kind of like you're in a planning stages here.
yeah, exactly. It's building step by step.
Yeah, and you're halfway to your goal. So I think, and you're working from home in Italy. Like that's pretty great. Um, so how do you manage your schedule with your daughter? Well, you have two. Are they both girls?
That one, my youngest is a boy.
Okay. How do you manage your schedule with your two kiddos, boy and a girl?
Yeah. So this is where grandparents help and come in. We had been taking my daughter to daycare, and that had finished at the end of July. So I had her for a month just at home. So I built the schedule of when my son goes to sleep and having my daughter going to the grandparents 2 days a week. And my husband has two sisters, and so in the afternoons he'll take her to their house and she'll play with her cousins. So I work around like the sleeping schedule a little bit, and then the daycare hours, so that helps me to, okay, I set aside 2 hours each day in the morning to bang out this work, and then in the afternoon I set out 2 to 3 hours to bang out this amount of work and what it needs to get done. Now that my daughter is going into preschool full time, I will be able to have almost a full morning where I can devote to work, and my son will then be going to the grandparents' house. So then that affords me the ability to be able to work more hours.
Love that. That sounds a lot like what I did and what I think a lot of moms do. You really just have to find a schedule that works for you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
And your
exactly.
clients, they're not like, you need to be online between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. and I need this by 2 p.m. That's not how it works.
No, no, I have not experienced that at all.
Everything's pretty flexible.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They request, okay, we want to make sure that this is done by this time and this time, and then just make sure you meet that. And you're like, okay, there you
Yep.
go.
Yep. So it's like, oh, I have this stuff that's due on Thursday, and then you just manage your time to make sure you get it done like minimum by Thursday.
Yeah, if not like at least the day before, or at least a couple hours before the day before, because I want to make sure if there's any snafus or, you know, something that goes awry, I want to be able to fix that so I'm not scrambling, you know, by a deadline.
That is actually a really great tip that we should stop on, because that's something I didn't learn until later in my journey, was not doing enough buffer time. And I think especially when you're a mom, you gotta have the buffer time. So if the client or the business owner that you're working with says Thursday, you bust your butt to get it done by Tuesday night, because someone's gonna be puking on Wednesday, or they're gonna have a random day off that you didn't know about, or you're gonna be puking, and like everything's gonna go to crap. So making sure that you have those buffers built in has really helped me, and it sounds like it's really helped you too.
Yeah, it saved me, because it's like, uh-oh, what happens now?
Yeah, and you want to be a good, you know, whether you're an employer or a contractor, you want to get your stuff done on time. Like, they're giving you flexible time and you want to honor that. And so it means that you want to make sure you're trying to get your stuff done. Every once in a while, if something comes up that's major, like if your kid goes to the hospital or something, of course, but for the most part, it's kind of a little online worker hack, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, got another question. So tell us about a really big setback or challenge that you faced since working online. We've kind of touched on a few, such as buffering your time. You don't learn that the easy way, or trying to get more clients and having them deny you. But is there something else that's come up with as you've been trying to work online? It could be also mindset stuff. And how have you worked through it?
Yeah, I think it's I think the setback is of, you know, I get down and I get frustrated, and I, you know, reach out to the support of, you know, the ladies in the unapologetic group, and have just kind of shared my vents, and then they reach out and, you know, make suggestions, and, you know, say give yourself time and take a break, you know. And that's something that I don't think about sometimes. It's like, you can take a break, you can step away from it and give yourself a day or 2 or 3 to say, okay, I'm going to just set this aside and I'll come back to it and just do something positive, do something creative, paint, you know, take a walk, take a bike ride, and, you know, just be able to reset and say that, you know, this is it doesn't happen in a day. It takes time, and you can't define when that time is that you're going to get to where you want to be, where you set your goals. So you have to be patient and know that it's going to come into fruition. It's just, you just have to be patient with yourself.
I love that. It's so true. I think that somebody posted the other day in our Facebook group. This is the Facebook group that's associated with our program members only. And she was posting like, you guys, it took me so long to find clients, but now I have 4 and everything's going great. And I was like, you're working your dream job and it took you 3 months to get there. Like, that's not really that long in the time span. And even if it took you 6 months to get to part-time of what your goal was, that's still really, really great, because some people are still stuck at a job that they hate and they've been in it for years and years and years and they can't find anything else. They don't do it. So I feel like in the grand scheme of life, it's really not very long, but when you're in it, it feels like that. And it feels like I'm a failure, I suck, I can't get there, what's wrong? It's like this whole thing. And I think you're right. I think that's really good advice. It's just to step back, breathe, put it in perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Because you've already made the choice to say, okay, I'm not going to be in something that I hate, that I don't love to do. So when you made that decision, that's already part of your journey, right? That you've decided that. Some people, they're just content to stay where they are because they're comfortable and it's easy, and that fear, you know, puts a wall, and then they say, okay, I can't do this, you know, so.
Yeah, you already took this huge brave step, so you got to just keep rolling with it.
You got to keep going. Yeah, you got to keep going.
I love it. Okay, so last 2 questions. So 90 Day VA, it didn't actually give you video editing skills. That was your what you ended up niching in. But I will say that we are adding it in, which is exciting. So it'll be a really nice foundational thing for people, which is exciting. But why would you recommend the course to somebody, even though you ended up pivoting and niching into the video stuff?
Yeah, I would recommend because there are so many valuable skills that I didn't even know that was in demand that I can use. And even if I decided to, okay, I'm not going to do video anymore and I want to get back into social media content design, learning about how to build that portfolio and create graphics for companies because they are always in need of graphic design work, and how I could use that as an asset when I pitch it to somebody else or pitch it to another company. It's just the whole gamut of it. It's just, you can explore every avenue that, you know, eventually something that you takes your fancy and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to run with that, you know? So it doesn't limit you with, say, okay, email management, scheduling, travel booking. That's not, that's not the end all be all of what virtual assistants do. So it's a whole box of surprises and things that just come out that you can just take and you're like, okay, yeah, I take that and take that and take that. Oh yeah,
that's a great way to look at it. And I think too, as somebody, you know, ideally the way I've designed it is as somebody also grows and their client says, hey, we'd love it if, do you know anybody who can do PR work? Oh, there's a module on that in 90 Day VA. Yes, I can do PR work for you. And the same thing with video editing. We found that a lot of requests are coming in for that now. And so of course we want to add it in there. And so I think that that's another thing, is that it can kind of grow with somebody. That's the idea of it. So then, like you said, if later you want to pivot and do something else, or if somebody asks you for something, it's all in the box of surprises. I love that. So what would you say to somebody, this is the last one, what would you say to somebody that might be on the fence about joining 90 Day VA and aren't quite sure if it's for them or not, and if they can even do this online work thing or not?
Yeah, I would say that the program has offered so much support and so many resources that I didn't even know was there, that just in that alone is enough that made me decide to go into it. And I think it doesn't hurt to try, right? Because if you don't try, then you'll never know. And what's the worst that'll happen is you learn some new things, and you'll meet some new people and you'll gain some new perspective. That's not a negative. That's a positive. So the fear always is always there, right? It's always there. It's always gonna come at you and say, no, that's not gonna work. You'll fail. I know, amor, I'm coming. I'm coming.
I love the voice.
So, yeah, here's my daughter. She's coming. Hi. Hi. So I would say, and it doesn't hurt to try, and you can always, if you always want to go back, then you can.
Yeah, that's right. You can always go get that job at Starbucks.
You can always go. There's always going to be a 9-to-5 job, so that's never going to go away.
So if your goal is to spend more time with your babies, like this precious one, then why not give it a try? Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank you, baby, for joining us and adding in the cute factor. We appreciate you, and I'm so excited to see where your journey in content repurposing and video editing and production is going to take you. Bye.
Bye.